I would have moved to Phoenix, Arizona in 2025, this is where I would move to. You see, cities change, and over time, areas change as well. And so this video is up to date for this year, because if you're looking to move to Phoenix this year or sometime really close to this time, you want to know what the best spots and top spots are. Now, there's a lot of spots around Phoenix, so this is somewhat subjective, but I've been here now for 21 years, selling real estate right here in Phoenix for 20 of those years, and I have a pretty good idea of what's trending, what's good for what type of lifestyle you're looking for. This is a video you don't want to miss. And also, one of the options is Phoenix might not be for you at all. Maybe none of these areas are good for you. Maybe none of the areas at all in general in Phoenix is good for you. And that's okay if that's the truth. But Phoenix has a lot to offer, a big variety. So chances are there's some place that fits what you're looking for here. And this is the place to discover that area. So I'm gonna break down these areas that I think are trending and are doing really well in 2025, and wait till the very end, because at the end, I'm gonna reveal the #1 spot I would live in 2025. Now, to set the table for these areas, we must know a little bit more about Phoenix in general. Phoenix is the 5th largest city in all of America by population, and one of the largest cities in all America as well by square footage. It is spread out. It is a big metropolitan area, and it has exploded over the past 10 years, and especially the last 5 since post-COVID. Over the last 5 years, Phoenix has been in the top 5 for the most net migration on the positive side since then, and it continues to grow. See, Phoenix was one of the benefactors from the COVID pandemic, where Phoenix was open for business a lot sooner than most other cities across America. And while this changed some of the demographics with the city, it has brought a lot of positives, because with growth comes usually opportunity. And the biggest opportunity, well, that is job growth and the booming local economy. Phoenix is ranked 2nd in all America for the city with the highest economic growth outlook. And if you follow me on YouTube Live every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. local time, you know what I'm talking about. We cover all the development happening in the Phoenix area, and there is a ton. Major employers are setting up shop right here in Phoenix, either moving their headquarters to the Phoenix area or big regional offices or divisions of their companies right to the Phoenix area. The tech sector and the healthcare sector are absolutely booming, followed right behind by manufacturing as well. Companies like Intel, TSMC, Microchip, Avnet, Amcor Technologies, General Dynamics, Nestle, Facebook, Apple, Google, and it continues with all the big names right here in Phoenix. So why are all these companies and more investing big dollars in the Phoenix area? Well, Phoenix has a population basis that is actually very diverse. I don't necessarily mean skin color, because there are more diverse cities when it comes to that than Phoenix. However, it is very diverse in terms of demographics, from age, income, size of families, and transient people who come here who are not from here, and then they move out, move in. So companies love having a large sample size from that, as well as the population growth and the educated population growth of people graduating from universities, either locally or from afar, moving to Phoenix after they graduate, because there's a large talent pool that's very diverse and rich right here in Phoenix. And so with those jobs comes housing. Where does the housing market sit right now overall in Phoenix? Well, the median price point in Phoenix right now is $451,000. Now, Phoenix has a huge diversity and variety of housing products all the way across the Metroplex. But Phoenix relatively is a newer city when it comes to housing and structures in general, compared to most cities in the Midwest and East Coast that we think of in terms of older buildings. Another thing Phoenix has when it comes to housing is a lot of tract home subdivisions. See, Phoenix doesn't have a lot of smaller builders or custom homes, although they do have those areas, not a huge sample size. In general, Phoenix has a lot of the big major builders that are publicly traded that buy big plots of land and then develop a big master plan or a large community. Then they build them out with HOAs that manage them. And sometimes, well, the houses, they can look very similar. So overall, if you don't like cookie cutter, you may not like Phoenix in general, but don't worry, there are plenty of places that have custom homes with unique architecture and different landscaping and lot styles. And so have no fear, I'm going to explore some of these areas in this video here today. Okay, let's dive in. But first, if you're going to pause that video and just give us a call right now, we would love to chat with you. We have people texting and calling us all the time, multiple times throughout any given week. And you can reach me at 480-660-5974 or book a time on our calendar link just below. Okay, that first area is going to be the Palmcraft Encanto area in the historic district area in uptown Phoenix. See, believe it or not, Phoenix actually does have some history and some culture, and you're not going to find it any other place that's better than the historic districts, in my opinion. You have several historic districts. This is one of them. This is the best one. You also have the Coronado Historic District and the Willow Historic District, as well as a few others, FQ Story and some of those. But the Palmcraft Encanto is special. If you look on the map here, you can see exactly where it's located. It's not that big, but you also have a golf course that runs right through the center of it, as well as a small amusement park that is great for the family or the kids. It's not talked about very much. It's kind of like a hidden gem. If you don't know about the historic areas, you will not know about that small little amusement park or even that golf course that is surrounded by taller buildings and older homes. Now let's talk housing in the Palmcraft Encanto area. Most of these homes were built pre-World War II, and the architectural styles are phenomenal. You have a Spanish colonial revival style, as well as Mediterranean, Tudors, colonials, French cottage, Pueblo, ranch, and eclectic styles, all pervading through the Palmcraft Encanto area, which makes this area special. It's one of those cool areas with big trees, mature landscaping. You drive through and every single house is different, quaint, and a little special. There are approximately 330 homes in this area, and there are currently 10 homes for sale on the market. And that median home price, well, it's currently $899,000 for one of these special homes in this area. So the vibe of this area is going to be artsy. It's going to be walkability to a lot of conveniences, especially living in the city, but not right in the downtown area. You have access to some parks that are nearby. You have access to a lot of the amenities that any big city would have living down there. And it makes you feel like you're not really living in the desert or even Phoenix in general. But the play here is also going to be convenience. Not only just minutes from downtown Phoenix, you are just literally minutes from Sky Harbor Airport, and you're located right in the city center to get to anywhere you want to go. You can hop on the I-10 to go to the West Valley or the East Valley. You can hop on the 51 or the 17 to go north or even south. Living in Palmcraft Encanto is bucking the trend of a typical lifestyle that a Phoenician will live. So if that's something you're looking for, then I would highly recommend exploring this area further. Now, you know I had to put Peoria on this list because it is booming and the future is bright in Peoria. Not only do they have plans for a huge revitalization project for downtown Peoria in the future, trying to make that special, quaint little area, but they are going to be booming because of TSMC. That's right. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company is actually building a huge plant in North Phoenix up on the Loop 303 that ends up bordering Peoria to the west. Peoria already has a lot of things going for it and its future, but now with the growth of TSMC, what I'm calling the tech corridor of the Phoenix area, which is going to be the Loop 303 as it heads west and starts to curve down towards the I-10 in the West Valley. There are a lot of suppliers that are now setting up shop along the Loop 303, and more will be coming as TSMC continues to be built out. This is a huge project. This is one of the biggest projects in the history of America, not just the state of Arizona. You have $165 billion invested into this project to manufacture semiconductors and chips right here in the Phoenix area. It is a huge play for Arizona, a huge play for the United States to have the two biggest chip makers in the entire world right here in the Phoenix area. The headquarters of Intel is down on Chandler, and now you have this big, enormous plant in the North Phoenix area for TSMC. And a big benefactor is going to be Peoria, Arizona. So let's talk housing in Peoria. Peoria has some amazing master plan communities, from Vistancia to West Wing Mountain to Sonora Mountain Ranch and Fletcher Heights. It is also a very safe area where the crime rate is extremely low and is removed more so from the center of the Phoenix metro area. Now, most of these nice master plan communities are going to be in the central to north section of Peoria. As you go into the southern section of Peoria, you have some older housing and it's attached more to the city center. But all the growth is happening in North Peoria. There's a lot of land to be had out there, and it extends all the way up towards Lake Pleasant, which is one of the best and largest recreational lakes in the entire state of Arizona. A lot of Phoenicians who have boats spend a lot of time out on Lake Pleasant, as that is just a phenomenal place to go hang out and have some water sport activity. They also have a marina there where you can store your boat on a slip right there. You also have a good restaurant there, as well as Pacwa Park, which is a aqua park where you can go out there and it's kind of like an island floating in the middle of the lake, and it is an obstacle course, and you have a blast, you have a good time, you fall off into the water. It's just a great time. It's all inflatable, but I'm sure there's still a lot of people who can manage to do that. But the entertainment value of Lake Pleasant is fantastic. fantastic. You also have a lot of parks and recreational. Outdoor lifestyle is also huge in Peoria. So if you like that type of lifestyle, Peoria is a place you should definitely explore. And going back to the housing, the variety of housing in Peoria is going to be primarily single family homes. It's a very family friendly oriented area. The median home price currently stands at $534,900. So it's one of the more affordable suburbs as well. So there's another area that's very family friendly focused that I'm going to cover later on in this video, but it's more of a flat area when it comes to the outdoor lifestyle, whereas Peoria is more located in the mountainous, hilly area, with outdoor lifestyle being much more prevalent. The hiking, the biking, the walking, getting outside, playing some golf. That's all part of that lifestyle living up in Peoria. In fact, we've done several videos on Peoria alone on this YouTube channel. So go ahead and click on the link here to explore some more videos on Peoria, Arizona. If you're looking for a 55+ community, Peoria has that as well. In Trilogy at Estancia, which is a beautiful subdivision and community with a ton of amenities. Looking for a private country club? Well, Peoria has that too, with Blackstone at Estancia, which is a private course that is a picturesque, outstanding, beautiful course that you would love to absolutely play. Peoria has a population size of almost 200,000 people at 195,000 people, and so it is going to continue to grow because there's a lot of room within the borders of the city already, and with the job growth coming from TSMC, it is going to boom. Now, there is a lot of new building that will be also occurring in Peoria, with several large home builders securing land both north and on the south side of that Loop 303. There's a lot of land to be built out there, and it is going to happen because people need housing in this area to support all of the job growth that will be happening there in the future as well. Now, in terms of crime rates, Peoria is very safe overall. The more north you go, the safer it gets. As you go south, the crime stats do increase a little bit, and that's something I highly recommend to explore further. But overall, Peoria is known as a very safe place to call home. So overall, the vibe is good for families. If you're a family raising kids, generally speaking, that's the place you really want to explore. If you're single, looking for the nightlife, looking for a place to be convenient to everything else, yeah, Peoria, probably not going to be your cup of tea. We're currently at the Boardwalk. Now, if you saw my top 10 things to do in the entire Phoenix area, you'll know number one in all of the Phoenix area is the Boardwalk. This place is incredible. You have so many things to do. We're here at the Odyssey Aquarium, and right next door is the Butterfly Wonderland. You have Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum. I mean, look at this guy. I mean, who does not want to come see things like this and be scared to death? You have all kinds of things to do. You have places to eat, you have ice cream, you have so many things that you can get done, dinosaur museums, and of course, iFly, indoor skydiving. So in those hot summer months, you can skydive indoors. You have Tiger Woods' Pop Stroke mini golf concept. That is a huge hit right in this area. All stuff is compacted right into Central Scottsdale. So in addition to amazing housing, you have awesome amenities and entertainment and things to do. Also in the Boardwalk area, you have one of the nicest casinos in the entire state of Arizona, Talking Stick Resort and Casino. Attached to it is a golf course with two 18-hole championship design courses. And inside this high-rise casino is everything you would expect out of a normal casino, including a steakhouse called Orange Sky at the very top with panoramic views of the entire valley. And right across from Talking Stick Resort, you have Top Golf, which is always a nice time. You have the Pickler indoor pickleball. You have Mavericks, KTR, Slick City, and some other giant indoor entertainment areas, especially for kids when it's hot outside. You have a movie theater called Roadhouse Cinemas, which will serve you dinner while you watch a movie, as well as many other nice shopping areas and restaurants to go eat. It's just really hard to beat the Arizona Boardwalk area located right here in Central Scottsdale. Now, possibly the crown jewel of the Central Scottsdale area is this train park, the McCormick Stillman Train Park. This is so cool. It's something you're not going to see every day almost in any city across not just the state, but America. You have a kids train. Kids can get on, and adults, of course, that's a blast, and drive around the entire park. You can get tickets for that. It's super cheap. It's operated by the city of Scottsdale, so prices are actually really good. You also have a replica of a old 19, I believe 20s or 30s rail car that one of the presidents actually used way back in the day. It's about 100 years old. And you have a model train center as well. You can go in and see, I mean, a lot of trains running all around everywhere like you loved to do when you were a kid. At least I did. It's so cool. You have a carousel over here, and you have a bunch of different ramadas throughout the entire park. And as you can see, a ton of grass, which is awesome in the desert. But these ramadas can be rented for parties and birthday parties, private parties, whatever you want to do. This park will accommodate most of that. Got to check it out. Okay, what's really cool, in addition to everything else this park offers, they're going to have an indoor train park playground for the kids as well, coming this summer in 2025. Okay, now let's define where Central Scottsdale actually is, because there's some debate about that. But this is the official channel. We're going to tell you exactly how we define it, which is really the correct way after all. On the north, you're talking the Loop 101 as the boundary, and then on the south, we're talking Indian Bend Road as the southern boundary of Central Scottsdale. You have the western boundary around Scottsdale Road. It kind of seesaws a little bit, and then of course you go out east that way. But Central Scottsdale is amazing for a lot of reasons. You can see this beautiful background behind me. You have water, you have grass, you have a lot of mature trees and landscaping that you just don't have in other parts of Scottsdale, especially North Scottsdale. When it was designed, it is the area of the master plan communities. You have a lot of them. Most notably, we're standing right in one of the largest and best ones in all of Phoenix. That's McCormick Ranch. You also have Scottsdale Ranch. You have McDowell Mountain Ranch, you have Uncala, you have Scottsdale Mountain, you have Hidden Hills, you have the Cactus Corridor. There are so many good ones in the Central Scottsdale area that a variety of housing is at your fingertips. And speaking of housing, let's talk about the median home price in Central Scottsdale. Now, overall in Scottsdale it's $927. In Central Scottsdale, it is $880,000. So technically, you get a better deal living in Central Scottsdale overall of Scottsdale. All right, now let's talk about food. Now, there's no shortage of food concepts, different concepts and restaurants, amazing ones in Central Scottsdale. This restaurant right here actually was the old char house of McCormick Ranch, and it has been bought by Prime Steak Concepts, which is the owner of Steak 44 and Ocean 44, which are actually two of the best restaurants in the entire Phoenix area. This is going to be an amazing restaurant. They're going to knock it down, build it back up, and that's coming fall of 2026. Now, when it comes to food, there are no shortage of restaurants. As I mentioned, you have the shops at Gainey Village, which we're at right now. You have Pomo, you have the Village Tavern, you have Famous 48, Lure, the list goes on. You have Scottsdale Quarter, you have Kierland Commons. It is incredible, these places, these big outdoor shopping areas like this, that stay busy even in the summer when it's pretty hot, because you have a lot of shade, you have the misters, and you of course have good food and places to eat even outside this time of year. And breakfast spots, yeah, they have those too. Hash Kitchen, Snooze, Ecstasy, and there are plenty of others that I can't even name on this video, but Scottsdale, Central Scottsdale, a great place for food if that's your style. Okay guys, you know what time it is. We are in Central Scottsdale and it's time for the KCI Index. We are at the local, you always gotta do local, coffee shop of the Village Coffee right here in the McCormick Ranch area. So we're gonna go in here, we're gonna get a cup of coffee, a cup of Joe, and we're gonna see where they lie on the 1 through 10 rating with the KCI. Let's go. Guys, this is a cool vibe in here. You really enjoy coming in here to Village Coffee and checking it out. And this butter coffee, oh, can't wait. Okay, so we're outside, we got our coffee from Village Coffee, and I've never had this before. First time ever, anywhere, it's a butter coffee. So what's in here is espresso, water, butter, MCT oil, and cocoa powder. And I'm super excited, so cheers, let's go. Well, that's smooth. So you can definitely taste the butter in here, and that cocoa powder really helps. But I feel like I need to go work out or something now, right? KCI, Village Coffee. I don't have anything to compare it against because it's a butter coffee, but I'm gonna give you a solid 9 for this because it is really good and smooth. So cheers to you guys. So the next area I would certainly consider would be Gilbert, Arizona. Now, if you look at the map, where is Gilbert? Well, it's in the East Valley, affectionately known, and there are multiple good suburbs down here in the East Valley. Gilbert is a top-notch suburb. I'm currently down here in downtown Gilbert, and downtown Gilbert is special because it's newer, it's niche, it's small, a ton of free parking, which is great for any downtown area, and a lot to do. Again, going back to the map, the heart of downtown Gilbert are the cross streets really of Gilbert Road and Elliott. And if you're a foodie, man, Gilbert is a great place for you, especially downtown Gilbert. Now, overall, no one's going to say the best restaurants are gonna be located in Gilbert or anywhere in East Valley for the most part. Downtown Gilbert is actually really good, and they have some really good food concepts. As you head down the main strip of Gilbert Road, you'll notice that there are some amazing restaurants like Culinary Dropout, Oso Brewery and Distillery, Oregano's Pizza Bistro, which is my favorite pizza shop in the entire Phoenix area, Oregano's, Joyride Taco House, Joe's Real Barbecue, The White Rabbit, just to name a few. So as you walk up and down Gilbert, you can grab some food, get some ice cream. It's just a really good place at downtown Gilbert to go hang out and have a meal any night of the week. Now right now behind me is the Gilbert Water Tower Plaza. This place is special, and the iconic Gilbert Water Tower located right here. This place is great for families. Kids have a splash pad to come hang out, get some food to go, maybe some pizza, go hang out by the splash pad and watch your kids run around and stay cool in the heat. There's also a farmer's market down here in downtown Gilbert every week, and the Heritage District is also a phenomenal area to go visit as well. So overall vibe in Gilbert, well, it's gonna be a vibe of family first. That's right. You don't have a lot of corporations or jobs or companies in the town of Gilbert. You do have a lot of single family homes, not too many condos or townhomes, and a ton of families with kids. It's a great place to raise a family. So if you're looking for the late night vibe, the nightclubs, the late night scene, you're not gonna wanna live in Gilbert. It will not be for you. But if you are a family and you're cool with things shutting down around 10, 10:30, 11 at the latest, then Gilbert, that's a place for you to seriously consider. Now let's talk schools. Schools in Gilbert are highly rated. The Gilbert Unified School District is extremely highly rated and a great place to send your kids for a public school district. They have a ton of options when it comes to elementary all the way to middle school, and of course, some really good high schools that, by the way, are really good in sports and athletics as well. But they do have some private options as well. They do have Gilbert Christian School, which is a really good Christian school. You have Primrose, and you also have some Montessori options also. So schools in Gilbert, A+. All right, now let's talk about transportation and getting around Gilbert. Gilbert is built on a grid system, so it is extremely easy to get around. You have a lot of squares looking at a map going straight down on it, and you have city blocks really about 1 mile apart from each other. So it's really hard to get lost in Gilbert. It makes it easy to get around, and most traffic is on residential areas. You don't have any major interstates running through Gilbert, which can be problematic if you're in a rush to get somewhere, but as a family with kids, a slower pace, it's not a bad thing at all. Now, in terms of events, we mentioned the farmer's market, but there's also other things that Gilbert has as well, like Gilbert Days. They celebrate the history of Gilbert. Now, Gilbert is actually the town of Gilbert because they don't want to be a city. They want to keep a small town vibe, and when you walk around downtown Gilbert, places like this, you understand why. Another cool place to go hang out in Gilbert, again, super family oriented or an outdoor lifestyle oriented, is the Riparian Preserve. That's right, this is a huge park right in the center of Gilbert that has a ton of walking paths and a huge lake system running right through it. It's great for fishing or walking or running and just to enjoy aesthetically. Now let's talk housing. We mentioned that Gilbert primarily has single family homes because it's very family oriented. The median price point in Gilbert is $592,000. So you have a huge range where the lowest price home is gonna be around the high $300,000 price range, all the way up to several $1 million. It just depends what you're looking for. You're looking for more of a tract style home where everything kind of looks the same, because Gilbert does have a lot of those, or you're looking for a luxury home on a bigger lot. Gilbert has some of that as well. And if you want the country club life, Gilbert has one option for that, which is Seville. Seville is the only private country club in the entire town of Gilbert, which has championship golf, a ton of amenities, and the overall master plan community is actually really cool with a school in it as well. Oh, white picket fences? You want some of that? Gilbert has that too. Morrison Ranch is a perfect example of a community with the white picket fence that you've always dreamed of. Hope you get a good feel for downtown Gilbert here. And Gilbert in general, it's just a great all-American city is the best way I would describe it. Oh, and let's talk crime. In Gilbert, extremely safe. You can look at the crime stats, but there's hardly any of that in Gilbert, Arizona. Extremely family oriented, extremely safe, and just a great place to call home. The next area you definitely need to explore is going to be the Arcadia area. Where is that? I've never heard of that as a suburb or a city. Well, that's because it's not. It's a well-known area that is part of Phoenix as well as Scottsdale. See, some parts of Arcadia are going to have a Scottsdale address, some are going to have a Phoenix address, but either way, it is a gorgeous area. Now, if you look at the map right here, you can see that Arcadia is divided into 3 different areas. You have Arcadia Proper, which is everything north of Indian School Road. Then you have Arcadia Light, and you have Lower Arcadia. Now, the price points change dramatically from Arcadia Proper to Arcadia Light and Lower Arcadia. Arcadia Light and Lower Arcadia are going to have very similar vibes. You're going to have homes that were built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s that are, for the most part, smaller and on a little bit smaller lots. Whereas Arcadia Proper, it is a completely different vibe. Picture California. Picture the Midwest. Large mature trees, irrigated natural grass lots, and sprawling ranch estates. See, most of the lot sizes in Arcadia Proper are larger lots. You're talking a half acre or more for many of the lots throughout that area. And they are flat, usable lots with no HOA. So homeowners can do what they want with their lot without having the worry of restrictions or really the neighbors doing something crazy, because most of the people who live in Arcadia have a higher standard of living, and so they're not going to put their house on blocks in the front yard or paint their house purple. And arguably the best part about Arcadia is going to be the views of Camelback Mountain. That's right, the iconic Camelback Mountain sits just to the north of the Arcadia area. And so it's great for access for the hiking trails of Camelback Mountain, but it's just so picturesque, especially if you have a north-facing backyard living in Arcadia or Arcadia Proper. Let's talk housing in Arcadia. Overall, the median home price is going to be about $1.5 million, but that depends on which publication you look at. Why? Well, because it's so undefined, the 3 areas of Lower Arcadia, Arcadia Light, and Arcadia Proper. Some people have those areas differently defined as to which road they start and stop on. That being said, most people are on the same page that Arcadia Proper is everything north of Indian School Road. But when it gets south of Indian School Road, it gets a little dicey to those boundaries. And one thing I tell you about Arcadia is talk to a real estate professional who knows the area, like myself, because they change based upon moving across a street or not. One quick example is the property values will change dramatically when you get below Thomas Road, and they will change again when you get below Oak or Osborne or McDowell, and so on and so forth. So you have to know which pocket you're looking in, because you could easily overpay for a property that you shouldn't be paying as much as you should, comparing it against a house that is further north or further south, but you think it's in the right area. Hopefully that makes sense, but that is a real thing when you get into a older area where not everything is tracked home in a beautiful, gorgeous area that most people really want to be in. The overall vibe of Arcadia is awesome. It is trendy. It is hip. The walkability score is fantastic. You have a lot of local coffee shops and restaurants that you can go visit. A lot of people will ride fat scooters and bicycles and e-bikes around the neighborhood to go visit their friends, or maybe a cocktail in one hand maybe a mocktail as you drive your fat scooter or your bike to your neighbor's house down the street. A lot of kids and families are also in this area, but you have a good mixture because you have a lot of people who are older, that are more established in life, because again, the cost to live there is more expensive. This is not a starter home area. This is gonna be an area where a lot of people are buying their second or third homes, moving up as their kids get a little bit older and older as families. Now, I mentioned earlier, a lot of the properties have irrigated lots. Well, what is that? Well, it's interesting because most of the areas that Arcadia sits in are old orange tree orchards. And so what happened is you had a bunch of orange trees, obviously, and they had irrigation built underground to come up and flood the areas around the orange trees to give them the best chance to grow and be strong, and it was the most cost effective. So when these orchards were taken down and homes were developed, they kept the irrigation system, and what you end up having is a beautiful green lush backyard that is cheaper than having a sprinkler system. The only difference is you're gonna notice a little ridge around the exterior boundaries of your yard or your lot, because that's what keeps and holds the water in when the company floods your front and backyards. That's right, they will actually flood it on a schedule, more in the summer, less in the winter, and that water will sit there for a couple hours, few hours, until it soaks in, and then you won't have any more water that you have to release on your yard for possibly a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks or maybe even a month. So it's a very interesting way to water your yard and keep green grass all year long for a fraction of the normal cost. Now, going back to the food scene, it is special in Arcadia. You are within walkable or maybe bike rideable distance to many of these restaurants, to Postino's, to the Henry, or even the Porch. Now the Henry, that's one of my favorite spots. It is such a cool vibe, hip, trendy, and most of these restaurants are like that. You also could get to State 44 really quick, which is one of the premier steakhouses in the entire Phoenix area, and arguably the most premier hip and trendy hotel in all of Phoenix, which is the Global Ambassador. You can go there and hang out. They have several restaurants that are amazing. It's a really trendy, cool place to live and a lot of things to do when you live in the Arcadia area. And the last area you need to know about for 2025 is going to be Anthem. Well, what is Anthem? I never heard about that. Well, it is not a suburb, it is an area. But what makes this special and different from other designated areas across the Phoenix area is that this is a true self-contained master plan community with everything you really need right in Anthem, to where you really don't have to go anywhere and leave Anthem if you don't want to. Now, Anthem has a Phoenix address. It's the Phoenix zip code of 85086. And again, it is self-contained, built by the master plan developer of Del Webb. Now, you have two distinct areas of Anthem. You have the park side and you have the country club side. So if you want that private country club feel, well, Anthem Country Club is a great place for you. The fees are actually halfway reasonable. They haven't skyrocketed too much like a lot of the clubs in Scottsdale or Paradise Valley. And they have two amazing 18-hole courses that are picturesque desert golf with mountains surrounding you everywhere you look. Now, on the country club side, you're going to have track homes and you're going to have HOA dues, and your dues overall are going to be just a little bit more clearly because you're behind a guard gate on that country club side north of Anthem Way. But on the south side of Anthem Way, you have the park side, and that's a pretty good deal. You also have track homes throughout this side as well, but you have an HOA that is much more reasonable, and with your HOA dues, well, you have access to a good amount of amenities as well. Amenities that involve water slides and community pools and a fitness center, etc., etc. You also have a catch and release pond. You have a skate park and some really cool things. Now let's jump over to schools. Anthem has its own schools as well, with Boulder Creek High School being the high school located right there in Anthem that is a highly rated high school. And in addition to those two areas, you do have a third area that is located on the west side of the I-17, the major interstate that runs north to south, actually goes right past Anthem, and on the west side you have this area called Anthem West, which is all part of this master plan Anthem area. But you have restaurants, you have wine bars, you have coffee shops, you have really everything you need to be right there in Anthem. Grocery stores alike, jewelry stores. In fact, one of my good friends actually runs a jewelry store up there. I highly recommend it. And Anthem is known for cleanliness and mountain views. Oh, and shopping? Can't forget about shopping. The outlets at Anthem are right there off the I-17, and there are some designer major brands right there at the outlets. And you know, outlets always have better pricing than regular shopping, so a lot of people come from all across the valley to go to the outlets at Anthem. Let's talk about homes. Well, again, we mentioned track homes. You're not going to find anything really custom in Anthem. That may be a downside, but you have different sizes of homes to choose from. 2 stories, single stories, your choice from that standpoint. You want more privacy and security, get behind the guard gate of Anthem Country Club. But if you're looking for value, Anthem Parkside will do just fine. The median home price in Anthem currently is $562,000 with a good range of products to choose from when it comes to single family houses. And the vibe for Anthem is going to be families, families, and more families, again, on the park side for sure. Now, when you get on the north side and the country club side, you're gonna have less and less families, but you're gonna have a lot of people who own second homes, who are retirees, a little bit older demographic that live behind the guard gates. And overall, the value of the homes there are gonna be just a little bit more in terms of cost than if you're in the park side or in Anthem West. But if you don't have to go a long ways for work every day and you're fine living in Anthem and doing most of your activities right there and the schools and for the kids, etc., then Anthem is a phenomenal option. But if you're looking to do things outside of your self-contained neighborhood and maybe going to work every day, commuting, Anthem may not be the best choice because you will have to drive a long ways to go to most of these activities. So let's recap the areas we went through. First of all, we went through Palmcraft Encanto and how that's a vibe downtown area. Walkability score is great, artsy feel, older, established, cool architecture. Then from there, we went out to the Northwest Valley of Peoria, which is already booming, but going to be booming even more in the future due to a lot of jobs coming to the area and more construction of homes. Very family-friendly area that has a huge apt for outdoor lifestyle. Number 3, went to Central Scottsdale. If you like being the mix of everything and like a little bit of that luxury feel to it all, then Central Scottsdale is going to be a phenomenal place for you to call home. A good mixture of families, a good mixture of people who are a little bit older in life, a good mixture of people who have a little bit more money who want to actually start a family, and of course, young professionals who want to be in this area as well that are single but like being in the mix. The next area is Arcadia, which is just south of Camelback Mountain, that also has a very strong trendy vibe towards restaurants and shopping and coffee shops and a community-centric lifestyle in Arcadia that also has a good mixture of families and people who are older, but a good sense of community throughout most of the people living in this area. And then we went to Gilbert down the Southeast Valley. Gilbert is a family first area that is newer, it's clean, and it is a phenomenal place if you like just a little bit of things to do with some decent restaurants, but you want to be off the beaten path a little bit and you're okay working from home, or maybe if you have to commute, it's okay because your family is your priority and you want to be in a strong area in possibly a master plan community like Morrison Ranch or Power Ranch or one of those big tract home master plan communities that really focus on having social activities with the HOA and things like that. And lastly, we went to Anthem. Anthem in North Phoenix. This is self-contained that you're tucked in behind a little bit of a mountain range and you are able to get everything you want living right there in Anthem. And again, for the most part, very family friendly. So out of these 6 areas, where would I live? Well, I'm going to choose in 2025, Central Scottsdale. And the reason why is because, well, I like being in the mix of everything. And I have a family that's a little more established. I've been married 16 years now, and my kids are 10, 12, and 13. And so they're transitioning from elementary school into middle school. And we have the ability to be in an area that has increased a lot in home value. So thank goodness we bought over a decade ago. And we just love the lifestyle that it has to offer us. Scottsdale is coveted from South Scottsdale all the way to North Scottsdale by most people. And for entertainment, shopping, lifestyle, school districts, and overall just quality of life, Central Scottsdale is just really hard to beat. So if you can afford the median price point to get into Scottsdale, which is a lot different than when we first bought in many years ago, then that is a place I would highly recommend for you in 2025. Hope you really enjoyed this video and all the research and time that went into giving you the best 6 areas that you should be aware of on your map and your radar for 2025. Give me a call at 480-660-5974. People are reaching out to us all the time, and we absolutely love servicing them and being in service of any questions that you or they have when you call in. If you don't mind liking us and smashing that subscribe button to get us out to more and more people, I would truly be grateful. And while you're exploring these top 6 areas we covered today, check out the top 10 things to do in Phoenix on this video right here. Oh, don't forget, call me.